Welcome to the Valareso Capital community, where we discuss the stock market and trading strategies to become a consistently profitable trader and investor. Hey guys, welcome back to Valareso Capital. On today's video, we're going to go through the market update and also we're going to take a look at the weekly watch list. Remember guys that this video is for informational purposes only. It's just based on my personal opinion and it's not financial advice. So let's just jump directly here into the charts. Let me make myself a bit smaller here. So the first chart that I want to cover, and we had a lot of crazy action, right? Since the moment, basically, during this entire move to the upside, it has been actually pretty insane. And if you guys watch my previous video, we were talking about, is it time to flip bullish? And that's exactly what happened as soon as we got this close right here on Friday. Of course, we were talking about the SPX, and I'm going to take a look at the SPX in just a second. But right now, we want to take a look at what could be the possible roadmap for next week in the market. Remember, guys, that the main purpose of these videos is just to create a roadmap for next week, for the upcoming week. So the first chart that I want to take a look here is going to be the Nasdaq Composite. This is going to be the IXIC, a ticker symbol in TradingView. And what is happening right now? You can see right here that we had this close on Friday, which was a pretty strong hammer candle that actually ended up being a really interesting bear trap. You can see right here that we trap a lot of people when we actually came below that Thursday candle. And then of course that trap a lot of people. And then as soon as we take out this high here, you can see that we ended up squeezing higher. Now, this is going to be just based on price structure, right? We can talk about sentiment and a lot of things, but I just want to take a look at the price action because that's as an individual trader, you have to understand that there are so many variables that you just don't know. If you think that you have an advantage by looking at breadth indicators, sentiment, and all those things, I do think that you can create a basic assumption and you can create a hypothesis of what could happen based on those indicators. But most of the time, your real edge, and this is one of my core beliefs, your real edge as an individual trader, as a retail trader, is going to be in price action. That's your edge. So I don't think that you need to do much work understanding what is the positioning of certain funds or certain people, or what is the possible breadth indicators telling you. I think that if you watch price action, you're gonna get a lot of edge as a trader because you get to see some very important levels of interest. And the important thing is that you can act on those levels because you have the edge of liquidity. You can get in, you can get out. A lot of funds can do that. So this is going to be based just on the price action. And the price action right now is telling us that we're starting to see a lot of resistance right here at this gap resistance. So you can see that on this day right here, we basically gapped below. So we're creating this gap resistance above. And that's exactly where the price is starting to see some resistance. So it's actually a pretty interesting level because the basic assumption that you can make as a trader is like, okay, this is probably going to be resistance. What is going to be the next place in case we see a pullback? What is going to be the next place where I would expect to see some support? Therefore, if that happens, I'm going to be able to act on those levels. So if I'm seeing resistance here, and you can see right here that we got a wick, and then of course we had a bearish engulfing candle here because we're engulfing the body of the last candle. My assumption is that we're probably just going to see a pullback, and the buy zone is pretty easy because you had a lot of levels here. And the first level that you have is going to be this breakout level. And then of course you have the 50 daily moving average, and then you have the 21 exponential moving average. So if we happen to pull back here, it doesn't mean that it's going to happen. But if we happen to pull back here, we have three very important levels of support. And if we happen to pull back, then we have an edge. And if you're a pullback buyer like myself, if we happen to get that pullback, that's going to be an amazing opportunity to start building some exposure on some of the leading names that we're going to discuss in this video in just a moment. So just based on price action, the roadmap for next week is expecting that this level continue to act as resistance, looking for a support, and then of course a continuation higher, because that's what the structure of the market is telling us right now. And then of course we can jump into the SPX, but it's gonna look very, very similar to the Nasdaq composite. And let me just give me a second to grab some of my drawing tools here. If we take a look right here at the SPX, it's going to be basically practically the same. You can see that the Nasdaq composite is actually outperforming a little bit here to the SPX, but the price action is going to be pretty similar. You can see right here that we're finding that level of resistance, and then the levels of support that I'm going to be looking are basically the same. We have the breakout level, we have the 21 exponential, we have the 50 daily moving average, and also we have some anchor VWAPs. We have the anchor VWAP from this low, and we have the anchor VWAP from the false breakdown. So if we happen to pull back here, I'm going to be a buyer. I'm going to be a buyer with the expectation that the SPX is going to continue higher to close this gap that we have above. So the expectation for next week, basically on the SPX and the Nasdaq composite, is wait for a pullback. And if we happen to get one, we're going to be pretty lucky, because that pullback is going to come into some very, very strong and high probability levels of support. And if we want to take a look at, I think that this is going to be interesting. If you study the volatility instruments, you can see right here that the VX, which is the VIX futures, basically, you can see that we are also at a possible level of support. So just based on probabilities, we're probably going to see a slight bounce. And if we happen to see a slight bounce and we see some resistance at these anchor VWAP levels, then that's going to be an amazing, beautiful setup, because that's going to set up that you're going to see kind of an inverse cup and handle. And if we happen to see that inverse cup and handle, and I know that this is the VIX futures, and as soon as we get the change in the contract, we're going to see some changes in the structure. But just looking at it, if we happen to do this, that's going to be extremely, extremely bullish for the market. So just also keep that into consideration. I do think that the market is looking pretty bullish, but I do think that the best opportunity is going to be on a pullback. So let's take a look at some of the names that I'm going to be watching for next week. And if you want to take a look at the entire list, these are going to be the names. I'm going to be taking a look at Google, Team, Uber, Amazon, and also the QQQ and the SPY, looking to play those with the TQQQ and the SPXL, which are the 3x leverage ETFs for the indexes. So in this video, we're going to take a look at Google, Team, Uber, and Amazon. So let's start here with Google, which is my favorite, which is going to be my favorite setup for next week. And I'm trying to keep things very, very, very simple. What I'm looking here for Google is that Google is a little bit extended. You can see that we're closing below the previous day anchor VWAP, which is basically saying that sellers as of now are in control of the short-term, very short-term trend. So expecting a pullback is not is actually a high probability thing, right? So you can see right here that we had this bearish engulfing candle, which suggests that the best prices to get Google are going to probably be at the anchor VWAP levels and also the breakout level. So that's going to be Google. And of course, if you like the squeeze and momentum of the MACD, those are also positive. So that's going to be Google. Then of course we have Team, which is looking fantastic. We were talking about Team last week, and you can see right here that Team had a breakout. Right now is actually pretty extended. And for me, extended is when you get extended from those anchor VWAP levels and also the 21 EMA wave. So any pullback into those anchor VWAP levels and also this breakout level, it's going to be an amazing opportunity to get some exposure on Team and then look for continuation to the upside, perhaps to take out this high right here at 211.65. So that's going to be Team. Then we have Uber, which is actually a pretty similar setup. And what I love about this setup is that you can see right here that we have this base, then we have the breakout, we're coming right into resistance, and then any retest of this level right here, which is going to be the anchor VWAP, is going to be the 21 exponential moving average, and it's going to be that breakout level. It's just going to offer an amazing opportunity to get long. So my thinking is that, yeah, Uber can continue higher, but where is my edge? my edge is in that pullback. And if we get that pullback, that's going to be an amazing level to grab some exposure, because you're going to know that if Uber just continues to break lower, then you're wrong. So you keep your risk pretty small. And if Uber happens to find support here and then continue higher, that's going to be a huge trade. So that's the very important thing about just waiting for those high probability levels. And then finally, Amazon, looking also pretty similar. You can see the similarities in these setups. You can see right here that Amazon came down. We formed this base right here, and now we're starting to break out a little bit. Amazon is not as extended as those other names, meaning that it's not as strong. So perhaps Amazon is not going to hold the breakout level. Perhaps Amazon is going to come in a little bit more, probably into that 21 exponential moving average, and also that anchor VWAP before having a continuation to the upside. And also, guys, you know that I like Fibonacci, so I also run a retracement from this low right here into this high right here, and you can see that the 50 and 61.8% retracement zone is also coming around here. So if we happen to get that pullback in Amazon, it's just gonna offer an amazing opportunity to get long. So just waiting pretty patiently. So that's gonna be it for the video, guys. Just as a summary, the roadmap for next week is hoping, basically just waiting. We don't know what's gonna happen. The market could just continue higher, but the thesis is that if we happen to get a pullback, it's gonna be an amazing opportunity to grab some exposure either on the indexes, or you can use some of the names that I share with you. So once again, thank you so much, guys, for watching. Remember to like, subscribe to the channel. That way you can get all the videos as soon as they are available. And also, guys, remember to follow me also on my Twitter account. It was a pleasure being with you here right now. So take care, and I will see you on future videos. Bye bye.